It's v.h.s.x? What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another discussion video that's suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. And this one is actually a Reddit post from r/dead by Daylight Rage titled I Hate Ghoul. So I wanted to actually get into this. I've spoken about Ghoul extensively in the past, and I still think that it needs to be discussed, because even to this day in the big 2026 we're still complaining about the Ghoul for some reason, when there's so many things to really complain about. Apparently Ghoul is still at the top of the list. Don't know how, but let's go ahead and give it a read. They say the worst thing to happen to DBD. I cannot effing stand that thing. Easy mode for killer. Does it make me a bad person for DCing when I come across them? TBH, I don't care. What a miserable experience in facing it and their players. Also, what is with the stupid lock on behind walls and corners? He locks you in place, yet you're 3 feet in front of him or behind a wall. So as usually what I end up responding with a lot of statements like this is usually the what we call in the business skill issue. Now, why do we say that? Well, number one, it's not easy mode for any killer. Never it has been, never will be. It never has been. I mean, even like me playing the character myself, it's just not easy mode. I really would want to understand what they believe easy mode is, because at the end of the day, you're getting an injury the same way any other character gets injuries. And then you still have to M1 them down, which, I mean, let's be honest, like, there is pallet density. If you have any understanding of looping, you're going to be able to waste time. The second factor that comes into play when playing this game is that you're not meant to somehow loop for like 5 gens straight. Like, that's just, the game's not designed for you to do that. The only reason that does happen is because you either have like a very, very low skilled killer player that is brand new going against somebody who's experienced enough to be able to capitalize on that. And that's also assuming that your teammates are on the generators in that time. At the end of the day, you're going to go down eventually. And I don't know why that's such a hard concept for people to understand, but that's just how the game works. You're supposed to go down at some point. That's why resources don't come back. Like, when you use a pallet, it's gone. You know what I mean? They don't respawn, they don't come back, right? So that's adding to that. And that's also why they have window blocks. That's why they have bloodlust. That's why they have these things in place, because you're going to go down eventually. And if they want to DC, you know what I mean, so be it, bro. Like, if they want to eat the penalties, you know what I mean, go right ahead. I'm not gonna sit here and try to discourage them, because I'm like, at that point, at least you're not going into other people's games where they actually want to play. So that really is just ridiculous. So yeah, that's already just like my thoughts on the initial post. Let's go ahead and read a couple of the responses as well. They say the community in general dislikes killers that get free hits, so Ghoul and Legion are being the best examples. This isn't an unpopular opinion. So that's the thing that I think is really strange, because every killer, technically speaking, if you want to talk semantics, all get free hits, right? Even the weakest killers in the game, like Trapper, for example, is technically speaking getting free hits, right? Because if you get clamped and say you escape, you're injured, right? Isn't that technically a free hit? But nobody complains about Trapper, really, right? It's kind of interesting when you think about it. Let's look at a character who, like, what's another good example? Let's say Hillbilly. Hillbilly, technically speaking, gets a free hit when he lands a curve, right? Or gets a free hit because he only takes 1 hit to down you, right? Technically, you need 2 hits to down, so doesn't he technically get a free hit? But people love Billy, right? They love going against him. They love playing him. He's not a problem. So why is it that Ghoul and Legion are somehow this crazy character? I really don't understand it. Very strange. But let's go ahead and continue. So they say it's not the free hit, which I find it hard to believe that it's somehow not the free hit in these people's opinion, because that's always the first thing they claim that it is. They say many killers have free injuries, Legion Plague, some even have incidents. It's the fact that the most killers that have a free injure, but then they're not very good at getting the down. Well, okay, so that's exactly what we've all been saying. Like a lot of characters have that. Like, you could even say that technically speaking, Huntress gets free hits, right? Because she's across the map, right? Like that's the thing when you start going down this path. It's like you magically, because this characters get free hits, now magically every character is getting free hits, because it's like it's illogical to somehow say that, oh my god, can it get so crazy, when it's like, okay, you get a free hit just like any other character does. Plague literally passively injures you. It doesn't even have to M1 you with just infection. Nobody complains about her to this level, right? They complain about her, but not to this level where they're like, oh my god, Ghoul, oh my god. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So they say, well, Ghoul gets a free hit that auto targets you, which is not true, by the way. That doesn't auto target you. You have to actually aim. You have to actually click it at the right freaking time, because sometimes you'll press it and it doesn't grab. So it doesn't auto target you. It's not like you just point it and it grabs automatically. You have to click as well, aim it as well. Like, you have to. And then a lot of the time you have to make sure you're in the open so it doesn't like clip it and then somehow hit a wall where you're only getting the status effect but not the injury. It says makes you stand still while he screams like a maniac. He really doesn't though. Like, what? So this is just inaccurate. When he lands the attack, he doesn't get to move, but when he finishes doing that little like grab or whatever, you already start running, so you get free distance off of him when he does the grab. But this is also what I mentioned with the language. They said can follow up pretty easily, not follow up easily, not follow up instantly. They say pretty easily, so they're not even confident with their own statement. You got to think about it. I always say this when we talk about forum posts. You got to look at the language being used to explain these things, because at the end of the day, that'll give you the true answer, the true statement they're trying to give you, the true statement they're trying to make you believe. And from that, you're going to be able to see that they don't know what they're talking about. And then they want to claim that he's very bugged. Like, how would you know that if you don't play the character? Because if you did, pretty easily wouldn't be in your vocabulary here when talking about the character. You're just saying it from going against it, but it's like you don't even play the character to not only know what the counters are, but to even understand how it is to play the character in the first place, to be even able to say that with confidence, that he could just pretty easily, like, you know, saying something is pretty easily doesn't mean that you're fully confident in that it's easy or not. So anyway, this person right here says, I mean, no one who knows how to stun Legion hates them. Ghoul is hated because you can play the loop correctly and create distance with skill, and use the palette correctly and still get hit for bullshit reasons, which is inaccurate. Very inaccurate. Because if you were playing the loop correctly, then you wouldn't be complaining. But the fact of the matter is that you're not playing the loop correctly. Because the first injury is always the first injury. That's just how it works with Legion. That's how it works with Plague. That's how it works with any character like that literally can do that. So you have to get used to being injured. That's just how it works against these characters. That's how the character works. I don't understand like why that's such a foreign concept. Like, there's other characters that literally skip the injury stage and go straight to a down called an insta down, right? Or exposed. But somehow, oh my god, this character that only can one hit you, he's so crazy. It's like, come on, man. Legion can get the injured more easily, but they're just a slow M1 killer for the down, which is really easy to deal with. The same way with Kaneki, bro. Look right here. This person says, I hated Legion so much, I made it my absolute goal to outplay, and now I don't mind Legion because I'm good at stunning them. Now playing their power. Playing this Legion despite my hatred of them helped me learn how to play against them, so maybe that would help with votes. With Ghoul too. I agree with that. And it's just crazy to me, man. It's just like, I don't understand like the leap in logic, man. Getting the down afterwards is way harder on Legion. They're probably equally the same at this point. We had to take into account palette density. We had to take into account perks. We had to take into account cooldown. We had to take into account all these different factors that come into play, let alone the counterplay that exists. But we do have a community for this game that is solely focused on, if I don't see it, therefore it doesn't exist logic. And it's like, the counterplay is there. The counterplay is there. They just refuse to acknowledge that it's there. Because at the end of the day, like, bro is literally an M1 killer at literally after the hit. He still has to M1 you. Like, regardless of what dash he does, if you just stay on your tile and loop that tile, what does he have? A vault? Like, but the vault's ass. Like, because like he'll just vault after you, but you still reach the next like vault. Like, it's just like Wesker was slow as hell. Like, you're not gonna get a free hit. So it's like, let's be so for real right now. The other thing you have to do is also cut off lines of sight, because if he is trying to vault over the window to try to grab, get out of his line of sight. I don't understand. Like, these are like objectively very simple concepts to understand. When you go against tricksters, huntress, like Death Slinger, what is the one thing you're doing? Trying to avoid line of sight to get grabbed, to get hit. So like, I just don't understand. So let's see. So the base 5 meters per second movement speed on a Legion and Frenzy is actually 130%. A sprint burst is still fast. The only way Legion gets faster than a sprint burst is with haste perks, add-ons, and at least 2 chained hits. Ordinarily though, as survivors spread out, Legion gets more than 2 hits per frenzy. It's why Legion is one of the worst killers despite having a map traversal ability. It doesn't last all that long. And it's ironic to me that they downvote him, but he's right. Like, it's just kind of crazy to me, bro. Like, you see how this community be moving, bro? It's crazy to me how this community moves, because it's like, when you speak facts, oh, you're wrong, you downvote, and it's like, so bro is speaking actual facts. Like, I play Legion so much, and I'm like, bro, they feel slow as hell. Like, 150% is not accurate. And then, of course, people know how to counter Legion. They spread out. So you're only getting like 1 frenzy hit, then you're back to M1 Andy. Like, that's it. That's the most you do. Kind of ridiculous. If Legion's a free hit, then every M1 killer gets a free hit. Exactly. This is the type of like logic that I'm going with as well, because it makes no sense. Like, I really don't understand. And like, the rabbit hole with Ghoul is just so crazy, because there's so many people that will complain about the character, but then when you actually see the clips that they use, you see the way that they describe it. Oh my god, every time I'm not next to any pallets, I go down. It's like, yeah, like any character can do that. If you're in a dead zone with Trapper, he's going to down you. Like, hello. Like, I've seen that unironically. I've seen people say that. Unironically, I've seen that. I'm like, yo, come on now. Like, unironically, I'm like, bro, there's no way. Like, you cannot be so for real. And it's like, maybe instead of hating the character, maybe sit there and go, maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe I can get better. But the problem is that, like I've said, we just don't have a culture in the community that wants to learn and improve, get better, like, you know, teach others. Like, it just, for some reason, that's just not a thing. I would like for it to be a thing, but I mean, the vast majority are also hyper casual, so they don't even care about improving. You know what I mean? They just don't. So it's like, man, like, it's just wild, bro. let's see. They say the humping is what gets me, every single one of them. I mean, to be fair, right? So to be fair, like with the, because I was reading over the other comments, to be fair though, with a statement like this, a lot of the time you may see something like this is because most likely the player that is picking Ghoul knows that everybody hates the character. So they're going in with the mentality of like, I'm going to give people a bad time. So that's why they're probably doing that. You know what I mean? Because they're probably frustrated. They've been having a hard time playing Killer, which I mean, to be expected at this point. Like, it's very unfun playing Killer nowadays. And it has been for a long time now. I would say for like I would say especially within the last couple of months, it's definitely gone on a massive decline. It's just kind of crazy, man. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? That's just how it goes. You know what I mean? I think, like, you know, people, and I've spoke about the cycle about this before. Like, you will end up getting situations where people will simply, you know, get sick and tired of dealing with the same routine of like getting 5-minute games because they're gen rushing them out of the gate. Can't have any chase because that gen flies. Can't do anything in the game, especially with any character you like. So you're like, oh well, now I'm gonna try to give them a bad time because they're giving me a bad time. It's just how it goes. And then of course, as a result, you end up getting more survivors that will then try to give the killer a bad time because they just have a bad time, and it just kind of keeps going. So yeah. And as you can see, like, you know, this is the type of stuff I always will tell you guys when they try to fart in each other's faces kind of stuff. Like, it's a whole form of gaslighting and echo chamber. So, like, you just see the honesty agreed, and then this one wants to say power trip. So you see what I mean? Like, they sit there and they feed each other's, like, delusions. They'll try to agree with each other, but there's never any evidence being shown. There's never, hey, maybe you should get better at the game because then they're downvoted or hated on. And then this person says, how do you possibly know this, right? Because you don't. And then they want to make up some excuse. So then they want to say, oh, it's not supposed to be taken literally. I'm like, okay, but you literally are claiming that all of them are toxic, all of them are playing sweaty, and it's like, but you don't elaborate. Like, they just make up stuff. Despise this killer even if you ignore his busted mechanics, which they aren't busted at all. His aesthetics rub me the wrong way. Okay. I guess. Yeah, to be fair though, Krasue was another character, because they mentioned Krasue in this as well. They said, why does Ghoul get a pass but somehow Krasue is hated? Like, I don't get it. Krasue is easy AF to counter. And then the person says, what do you mean Ghoul gets a pass? I see a Ghoul hate post virtually daily and never hear about Krasue. I think that people just in general find Krasue either really boring or really weak. And at least when I've seen gameplay, I still have not played Krasue to this day. Never bought the character, never bought the chapter. I'm like, nope, you can keep that to yourself. Like, I just thought it just looked super boring to play. It looked very weak in a lot of ways. I was like, you know, with the current nerfs, I should say. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not playing that. Like, the sounds are annoying, the music's bad, the cosmetics are trash. I'm like, you could keep the character. You can keep her over there. I'm good. I'll just stick with my own. And like, of course, like on release, a lot of people pretty much hated her, but I think she got nerfed pretty hard, where I was like, I don't think anybody cares about playing her anymore. But Ghoul, I think, is still like just a fun character to play. Like, any character that can move quickly, you know what I mean? That's always going to be a fun character, and at least a character that can hold up against the shift W meta, the pre-drop shift W meta. You know what I mean? The exhaustion spamming, like gen rushing, all that kind of stuff, high mobility can keep up with. So that's why people really play this character. And this right here, beautiful advice. The best advice I can offer is being unpredictable, breaking line of sight as much as possible, and never pre-dropping. Thank you. Because at the end of the day, they have to play around that palette. At the end of the day, unless you're going against like a very high hour, like very committed ghoul player that understands cutoffs, that understands what they're doing, that doesn't just vault over the window every 2 seconds with their ability, then you gotta go, oh nah, like this is gonna be a tough one. But most of the time, I'm gonna say 98% of the time, they're just random ghoul players just clicking and moving. They're not trying to do anything fancy. So at the end of the day, you play around the palette. That's already, you lock them in, right? Because a lot of the time I'll notice, even on killer, I'll try to lock them into a spot, especially because I don't have mobility on my characters. I try to keep them in a tile. So I'll sometimes I'll leave a pallet down and hope that they stay there, so I can just focus on downing them there instead of having them run somewhere else. And it works the same way with Ghoul here, because at the end of the day, he's like, if he's not understanding cutoffs and knowing how to play that, he's just M1. So he's gonna have you just play it normally, because he's gonna want to try to vault over, but at the end of the day, you cut off the angles. You don't let him see you really. You focus on your check spots and stuff like that. His big self, like he has those big tentacle things sticking out. He's not gonna be able to hide like either. So you can pretty much check spot him very easily as well. Like these are things that you can do. You know what I mean? Like it may be like a little bit different than what you're used to, because you can't shift W pre-drop against like most of the roster like you can, you know what I mean, against the most of the roster, obviously. It's like, and there they go. Like this person once again says, yup, the same with the fact that a lot of people DC against plague, the bots always cleanse the second they're infected, which obviously, you know, gives her her power. So let's go ahead and take a read of this too. This is hating Ghoul is valid. There's plenty of reasons for it. I disagree, but let's continue. The way the power attack stops you dead is my personal least favorite bit. I heard plenty of complaints about the voice lines. To be fair, right? Because people love saying, oh, I'm locked in place, oh my god. And it's like, okay, but it's for a second. Like, then you get to boom, you get to running. Because bro is still stuck there having to like drip it on his hand and like lick it. And then, oh yeah, I'm powering up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's doing all of that. Like, you already can go, okay, I got grabbed. Where do I go next? Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on now, bro. Like, oh my god. Like, literally, that's what he does. Like, they stab you with it, and then they go, drips, and then on their little palm, and they're like, and then, you know what I mean? By the time they're doing that, look around, go, yo, where's the next window? Where's the next pallet? Like, duh. I just don't understand, bro. Like, they just want to complain, but they don't want to try. Voice lines, I mean, voice lines make sense. I personally love playing like as Riza, because I just like that she's always giggling, so like it makes me like laugh as well, because it's like, damn, the character's having fun. Shit, I will too, you know. It makes it more enjoyable for me. They say worst thing that happened to DBD though, not even close. He's maybe the 5th or 6th top performing killer in the roster, but he actually has counterplay if you bother to play the game and learn it. If you keep DCing, you'll never learn or improve, which means your complaints will only be interpreted as crybaby, whiny, bitch attitude, which I 100% agree. That's why I keep saying this, and this is why I try to create guides for you guys. I try to use match reviews to help teach other people who also could be at that same level to try to improve as well, because at the end of the day, the only way you're going to be able to counter something or understand something better is by improving at that thing. And that applies to any game in ever, right? Like, for example, like, because I've been playing Rivals lately, I've been practicing playing like Doctor Strange, for example. I didn't really know how to use him to the, like, you know, top level, because I looked up the top level's Doctor Strange, right? And then I realized, oh wow, so I use my floating ability to combo it into my ult, so I can use my Eye of Agamotto to make them all sleep, then unleash my dark magic or whatever, and then that can get a kill. I didn't know to do that unless I looked it up, right? Or let's say, for example, like with Emma Frost, right? You can basically use your crystal on somebody, go into diamond form, and then while you're punching them, you're hitting the crystal, which does extra damage. And then if you break the crystal, that's a burst of damage, and you're still in diamond form already punching, so you can kick them into a wall afterwards. It does a lot of damage. I wouldn't have known that unless I looked it up. So that's why I'm like, I sit there and I go, why is it that we don't have this kind of culture in the DVD space? Like, why is there not enough, like, well, maybe there is a lot of educational content, but why is it not being popularized and being, like, why is that not a thing that should be the #1 priority, you know, with this game? Like, I just think it's so strange to me. It's kind of ridiculous. And then this person too says, I play Ghoul because I love Tokyo Ghoul. It's fun trying to fling around, which is also a good thing too. This person says, I hate Ghoul, but you really just have to learn to play against him. Just think of it as you're playing a fighting game and you want to learn a matchup versus your enemy. Once you learn how to loop him, he's not that insufferable. And then notice, look, once again, -2. Like, for what? He's not wrong. Like, why are they getting disliked because they're right? That doesn't make any sense. But like I've said, unfortunately, the culture in the community is just complain, cry, and beg for nerfs. And it's like, why are we not learning things? We claim we love the game, right? All these people are like, I love this game. Oh my god, I play it every day. Oh my god, DBD. And it's like, okay, but if you love the game, why don't you learn about it? If you love the game, why don't you take your hours that you're dumping into it and learn? Like, what's wrong with learning the thing that you love? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand the logic behind that. Like, you would think that because you enjoy something, you would want to get better at it or improve at it or understand it better. But no, for some reason, that isn't a thing. I don't understand. Like, it's just so weird. Like, I don't understand that logic. Like, even with like Rivals, I've been having a blast on that game. And the one thing I keep doing is looking up more information. Because I'm like, you know, I want to play this character. I want to main this character. I'm probably not playing well enough. I'm probably making mistakes, bringing my team down. I want to be able to see how I can do better as for me, because that's something I can control. And that will allow for more wins, right? So that's really like the point, obviously. But I want to hear what you guys think. Do you agree or disagree with the takes in the video? You know, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Consider hitting the thumbs up and subscribing. Really want to support the channel, you can become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off our members from Patreon. Pro King 101, YouTube members: Kargan Falcon, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Cozy Bozy, Theo Endire, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. And for the Twitch, we have Final Girl Bunny, Leona Art, Zazabu, Evil Blade, Danica, Crow Vader, Cake is a Road, Zeneron, Ginsburg, Mr. Morik, Kevin, Zero Mocker, Ashai Boo, and Gryffindor. Appreciate you guys supporting. Really means a lot. If you want to become a member, you can go ahead and join through Patreon or YouTube members, or even sub on Twitch. See you guys in the next one.